What up, three dibs? Welcome to episode whatever of Vityl Vinyl. My name's Vernon Smith. I started collecting records back in 1988 at the young age of 14 when I was a little punk rock skater boy, and continued to do so until 2005 when all my albums got wiped out by Hurricane Katrina. I've picked up some stuff over the years and recently got a record player again. So yeah, just kind of been rebuilding everything. Things that I think are essential or vital, get it, to my collection. And so I'm here to talk about those. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. If you're a long-time fan, welcome back. Glad you could join us. So, let's see. Today, we are gonna talk about the Beastie Boys. Yeah, Check Your Head. That's this album. That's the one I've got. I remember kind of liking them when License to Ill came out. It's like, what, 86? I was like in 6th grade. And started seeing their videos, thought they were, I don't know, like funny, goofy, whatever. And and preteen douchey Vernon moment. I remember like kind of dressing up like what I sort of thought was ad rock attire, like just like some blue jeans, white t-shirt, probably tucked in, red baseball cap, and like some high top white shoes, either like, I don't think there are white high top ponies, but that would be awesome if they were, since those are like kind of quintessential cheesy 80s shoes, but I believe they were Nikes. And yeah, just walking around, going to school, and just being like, yeah, look like ad rock, though I probably didn't. Probably looked more like fat rock. Because your boy was a chubster, still kinda am. And yeah, so thought the videos were kind of cute and goofy, whatever, and didn't really pay much mind to them after that. Like in high school when Paul's Boutique came out, I just figured it was more of the same stuff, so I didn't pick it up. But I did have friends that were like, dude, it's so awesome, but I was like, yeah, whatever. And then like one of my hardcore punk rock pals of mine had the Pollywog Stew EP, which is like their kind of, older hardcore stuff, but I didn't ask to borrow it because I didn't want to be like, I've never heard that before, so I want to hear it, because back then I just never wanted anyone to know that I didn't know stuff, so I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, I've heard that, it's okay. But so fast forward to like 92, this came out, and I remember seeing the video for So What You Want, and I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. I like it, and I ended up picking up the cassette tape because, like I've said before, I was more into records, and I never saw this around anywhere, and I was not into CDs, and I did not have a CD player in my car. I had a tape deck, so got the tape, and I remember driving around listening to it, and I literally remember the day that I listened to it, and I'm just like driving around New Orleans. I was like uptown, and specifically I was on like St. Charles and Napoleon. Like I remember exactly where I was, and when the album ended, I was just blown away. I was like, what the fuck just happened? So yeah, I was all in on the B-Boys. And a few years later, ended up finding this on vinyl, so picked it up. And then, what was it? Ill Communication came out after that. Picked that up too. It was pretty cool. It just kind of seemed like a continuation of this. So like I liked it, but not as much as this, because this was the one that like really game changer for me. I mean, just the shift in style and creativity, and showing off their skills, like they're developing musical talent, playing their own instruments and stuff. It was just way cool. And this is not an original. I originally had an original. Just gonna sit here and say the word original for the rest of the show, because that would be, you guessed it, original. But this one looks a lot like how that one did. Got the gatefold, minus the ring light, all lyrics and stuff, the collage on the back. I remember all of this from the one I had back in, as the kids say, the day. This, though, I don't recall having, was the polyline sleeve, anti-static, because you don't want no static. You definitely don't want no static with me. I'll tell you that right now, buddy boy. No siree. And I am good with the threats. But yeah, if you haven't heard this, what are you waiting for? It's been like 30 years. Come on, pick it up. And I do see this pop up on vinyl every now and then. I guess they just reissue it every couple of years, which is cool that it stays in rotation or stays in print, even if it's reprints, because for someone like me, it doesn't have to be the original, it doesn't have to be a certain edition. I just like the format, so yay. But I had something in my head and then I forgot. That's the beauty of unscripted. Beauty for me, probably not so much for you. But yeah, I did see these boys once in the, I believe, late 90s. Might have been for the Hello Nasty tour. I know they played, I remember them playing Sabotage. I believe they played Intergalactic too, so I guess it was for that one. Don't remember. Sorry, it was like 25 years ago. So I'm not going to sit here and just be like, what did they play? And just stare up at the ceiling. As much as you probably like to see that. Right, gang? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Or don't. Because I don't really know what the point of that is. But one thing I do remember about the show was thinking like, did they have trampolines under the stage or something? Because they were just like, like they're singing, they're just like jumping and getting like 3-4 feet up in the air. And maybe it's just because they were skinny and my fat ass could only get about a foot of air. But yeah, so that's my thrilling Beastie Boys story. Aren't you glad you tuned in? So yeah, and like I said, I picked up some of the other albums after that, most of which were just like MP3s. CDs were kind of phasing out, and it was before streaming, and I like some of the stuff, but it wasn't really stuff that I was like going to go ahead and get on vinyl, so I just like kept it with this. And Ill Communication, when I got Paul's Boutique years later, I was like, oh yeah, now I see what all the hype was about, and might pick up that on vinyl one day. But one album that I did get in a physical format is this little guy, Hot Sauce Committee Part 2, Part Drop. And yeah, it was pretty good. It was like the first CD I'd bought in years, and it's probably the last CD I think that I've bought for myself. But it's the Beastie Boys, and I was like, yeah, you got to get it. Plus, you kind of knew that this was going to be the last one. So yeah, that sucked when MCA passed away. I remember the day. But what can I say? Wow, see, I'm a rapper too. I do remember, like, friends of mine that like knew I was way into the Beastie Boys. Like, I was getting like calls and texts from like a handful of people who were like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, it's not like he was a family member or something, or a friend. Though I'm sure on some level, on some like extra dimensional, interdimensional level, we probably like hung out, or like through osmosis, he probably saw like comics that I'd done, and he'd like talk with the other guys about it. They probably just sat around discussing me, on some level. Probably why they put out that album, I'm guessing, because they were like, yeah, we got to give him one last little thing before we go. So I appreciate that, boys. I really do. So that just came to a screeching halt. So I guess we're gonna head on out. But before we go, let's look at the side of my dumb head for a bit. Let's see. Teaser preview what the next episode's gonna entail. Oh, another 90s sensation, but still kicking it today. Beck. So there you go. Strap in, come back, tune in, tune up, turn out, and yeah. And I'll even give you an extra later.